I do not believe that the same God who endowed us with logic, reason, and intellect intended us to avoid their use. Names and attributes must be accommodated to the essence of things, and not the essence to the ends, since things come first, and names afterwards. Passion is the genesis of genius. Doubt is the father of invention. All truths are easy to understand once they are discovered. The point is to discover them. I have never met a man so ignorant that I couldn't learn something from him. I do not feel obliged to believe that the same God who has endowed us with sense, reason, and intellect has intended us to forgo their use. The sun, with all those planets revolving around it and dependent on it, can still ripen a bunch of grapes as if it had nothing else in the universe to do. The laws of nature are written by the hand of God in the language of mathematics. Knowing thyself, that is the greatest wisdom. To understand the universe, you must understand the universe. You must understand the language in which it's written, the language of mathematics. In the sciences, the authority of thousands of opinions is not worth as much as one tiny spark of reason in an individual man. To be humane, we must ever be ready to pronounce that wise, ingenious, and modest statement, I do not know. You can't teach anybody anything. Only make them realize the answers are already inside them. Mathematics is the language with which God has written the universe. There are those who reason well, but they are greatly outnumbered by those who reason badly. Two truths cannot contradict one another. The Bible shows the way to go to heaven, not the way the heavens go. The prohibition of science would be contrary to the Bible, which in hundreds of places teaches us how the greatness and the glory of God shine forth marvelously in all his works, and is to be read above all in the open book of the heavens. Long experience has taught me this about the status of mankind with regard to matters requiring thought. The less people know and understand about them, the more positively they attempt to argue concerning them, while on the other hand, to know and understand a multitude of things renders men cautious in passing judgment upon anything new. Where the senses fail us, reason must step in. You may force me to say what you wish. You may revile me for saying what I do, but it moves. Nothing occurs contrary to nature except the impossible, and that never occurs. You cannot teach a person something he does not already know. You can only bring what he does know to his awareness. God is known by nature in his works, and by doctrine in his revealed word. Who would dare assert that we know all there is to be known? The greatest wisdom is to get to know oneself. In my studies of astronomy and philosophy, I hold this opinion about the universe, that the sun remains fixed in the center of the circle of heavenly bodies without changing its place, and the earth, turning upon itself, moves round the sun. The vain presumption of understanding everything can have no other basis than never having understood anything. For anyone who had ever experienced just once the perfect understanding of one single thing and had truly tasted how knowledge is accomplished, would recognize that of the infinity of other truths he understands nothing. In questions of science, the authority of 1,000 is not worth the humble reasoning of a single individual. It seems to me that it was well said by Madama Serenissima, and insisted on by your reverence, that the Holy Scripture cannot err, and that the decrees therein contained are absolutely true and inviolable. But I should have in your place added that, though Scripture cannot err, its expounders and interpreters are liable to err in many ways, and one error in particular would be most grave and most frequent if we always stopped short at the literal signification of the words. In the long run, my observations have convinced me that some men, reasoning preposterously, first establish some conclusion in their minds, which, either because of its being their own, or because of their having received it from some person who has their entire confidence, impresses them so deeply that one finds it impossible ever to get it out of their heads. With regard to matters requiring thought, the less people know and understand about them, the more positively they attempt to argue concerning them. Mathematics is the key and door to the sciences.